that was always my initial plan, was to have it automatically carved. But then I had this really interesting piece of um, aspen wood in my garage that that was really pretty. And one day I had been thinking, let's see if I still have pieces of it somewhere. But one day I was kind of looking at it, and I had done a video on Instagram some like a year or two earlier before joining TikTok, where I talked about the history of Utah State Tree and how they changed it. And I was just kind of like out on a walk with my dog, filming myself. It had nothing to do with woodworking. And when I made that, a lot of people were like, "Whoa, I didn't even know that Utah changed its state tree. That's really interesting." And so I thought, "Oh, that'll make a good TikTok. Is take this really cool aspen wood, carve Utah out of its state tree, and talk about the history of its state tree." And when I was doing that, I thought, you know what? While I was working on that video, I thought, you know what? I may as well just like turn this into the series. Just go for the state tree thing. Start making the map. Start hand carving it. Don't wait for the machine, and just go for it. So it kind of was like born out of that. How much time do I spend with family? So um, I am I'm a single person. Um, so I don't have like a spouse or children or anything like that. So that obviously frees up a lot of my personal time. So I don't have like a family of my own to spend time with. I do spend actually quite a bit of time with my immediate family though, like my parents and siblings. So you know, I go over. My parents don't live very far from me at all. Most of my siblings, all of my siblings live in Utah. They all live fairly close. So we're close. We hang out at least once every other week. We go to my parents' house and have dinner over there. But but yeah, I don't have like a lot of my time is spent by myself with my dog and cats and hunched over my computer editing footage and writing scripts and researching TikToks. What grinder do I have? I just got what one did I get? I got a pretty cheap one. Rikon, the Rikon 8-inch. We're his family and he loves us. That is absolutely true. You guys are all my family as well. All right, so cleaned up that tear out at the top. So I need to be careful and not, I kind of can't come up this way or I'm going to blow out the top of this some more. Don't want to keep doing that because we're losing some of that figure we love. Man. How does the wood stand the board? Magnets. Favorite and least favorite state to make? I don't really have a favorite or least favorite if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. Sorry, I can't really think of one that I'm like, oh, I love making that one and I hated making that one. I just really enjoy the process of each. I love researching and learning. They're all a little bit stressful in their own right. Like, I definitely have moments. Jared, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. I definitely have a lot of moments where I'm like not in the mood to sit down and script for a couple hours. Um, okay, yeah, this is for some reason this is weird because normally the end grain you want to bowl gouge. It's me, your boy. Thank you for the follow. Bucktool 8-inch, very nice. Okay, so we've got like a really we do have a speaking of chatoyancy. Let's bring the Twitch people over right here. See if I can show you guys the. I'm gonna manually change because like daylight's too orange. Let me manually fiddle with this. It's better. Other than obtaining the wood, what's the most difficult part? Just how much time consuming it is. It's very time consuming. The research and the editing and the. All right, can you guys see that right there? Look at that. Woo. Nice little bit of chatoyancy there. So yeah, the research, the editing, um, the narrating, the scripting, it's really time consuming, and so it can be pretty exhausting sometimes. It's very rewarding, obviously. I'm not complaining, but that's definitely the most challenging part is how time consuming it can be. That's why it's nice that now I'm finally like selling some state tree stickers and stuff, so it helps to make it all. It helps me justify a bit spending 12 hours on a state. Oh, you can't hear me when it's on? I've got my earbuds in. Then let's try this one. Hopefully that's coming through the earbud now on TikTok. You asked me my favorite Lana album, and I said I needed to think about it. I did not think about it. I did not think about it. My bad. My bad. Way better. Okay, good. Sorry about that, guys. Um, Saw 49 minutes ago, and it does. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty stoked on this piece right now. Let's adjust this for our Twitch audience a bit more. Okay, so we've got it to a pretty decent shape. I think we're through most of it. We got a little bit of tear out here and there, but I kind of knew we were going to have to deal with that with this species of wood no matter what. So I'm going to give it one more pass this way on here to see if we can clean up these bits of tear out. Actually, let me sharpen my bowl gouge, my smaller bowl gouge, and see if that does the trick. Um, okay. What is that? This is a piece of cottonwood, actually. It's a bit of cottonwood crotch right there. Okay. Okay. This is pretty. This is pretty. You guys, it's pretty. Did I say crotch? I did. This is a nice piece of crotch wood. Very nice piece of crotch wood. Ernie, thank you. Sorry you gotta. Oh, you know, sorry you gotta go, but thanks for hanging out. We are sorry to lose you, but thanks for hanging with us. All right, we got some really bad tear out right here, and gosh, I would love to be able to cut that down and not have to sand for a million years, but I think we're gonna have to sand for a million years. So let me start parting the. Although we do have a bit of an aggressive shape here that I want to cut down. That's better. That's better. I like that shape better. And we did clean up some of that tear out. So that was a win-win. That was a win-win. We got a better shape. And it was just kind of coming down a bit too V-like. I want a very subtle taper coming inward toward the bottom, but I want it to be a bit more subtle, and that was a bit too aggressive. Oh, shit. Okay, let's see. I think that's okay. Fingers crossed for not more tears. Yeah, I agree. No more tears, please. When am I making Florida? It could very well be the next state. We've got a poll up on the Patreon right now to decide. But it could very well be the next one. All right. I'm just going to sharpen this tool here. How many states are left? Just 7. We're down to the last 7. It's pretty wild. All we have left is... Cool, Mac. Thank you for the follow. When I hear Chatoyance, I got to run over to the computer and read that off. So yeah, all we have left is North Dakota, South Dakota, Missouri, Florida, New Hampshire, Alaska, and Hawaii. And that's all we've got left. It's crazy. Can't believe we're so close to the end. Doesn't seem quite real. Oh, Jakey, thank you. Florida is currently in second place to North Dakota on the poll. Wow. Wow. For those of you on the TikTok stream, one of my patrons just is on the Twitch chat, and he just updated me. And not only is he a patron, he's also my brother. He just let me know that North Dakota is currently in the lead on the poll. After the U.S. is done, can I do national trees of European nations? Quite possibly. Europe is on the to-do list for sure. If that's going to be next, I couldn't tell you. Maybe, maybe not. But European trees, yes, will happen at some point. Whew. Man, this tool sucks. Okay. All right, I need some water, and then it's time to sand this friend of ours. Sand and oil. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you love the content. Nevada, don't have the wood yet. Have I ever used a foot pole lathe? No, but I think it'd be fun to try that out. New Hampshire is in a close third. It's going to be a dead heat between those three. Oh, I'm so surprised. This is so surprising. Um, you never know the mind of the patrons. It's so interesting. Missouri, I was like convinced was going to be next after Oklahoma, and now it's just like dropped way off. I kind of think maybe the patrons want to see that one last or something. You live in South London, and somehow this is your favorite account. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Missouri apparently is not in the top 3 on the poll right now. I don't need wood for Alaska. I don't have it yet, but I'm gonna go buy it from the local lumber yard. They do have Sitka spruce available there, so I don't feel really great about asking someone to send a piece of wood that large when I can just go buy it up at the lumber yard. How much is my Patreon? I have got a $3 tier. I should probably just add like a $1 tier, just to like access the Discord. I'll do that today. If you want to join the Discord, you can join the Discord for $1. $3 to get the exclusive content. $6 for phone backgrounds and voting privileges, and then $12 you get free incense cone. Well, you pay for it, but $12 you get incense cones and stickers sent every 3 months. What's up? Hello, hello, hello. Is there any wood from the UK I'd like? Quite possibly, yeah. I don't know though. I'd have to look into that. All right, let's start sanding. Shall we? Shall we get to sanding? You're gonna join that right now? Well, thank you. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. World Wood Map. I'm gonna have a video up about that later today. But a World Wood Map is not going to be next. You know what I have on the like things I want to do, like Canada, Mexico, Europe, South America, Central America, Africa, Australia, Asia, those, regional views, yes. The world, I'm not going to be doing the world for a few reasons, but the main one being the scale of the countries for the world is mostly water. So if you try to scale up the entire world, you end up with a lot of countries being. I cut some out as a visual aid to show you how big some of the countries would be, and a lot of them would just be these tiny little minuscule things that would make for a not very interesting final piece. You would definitely buy a world map of wood. I mean, you can buy world maps of wood. If you go look at them, they usually combine big chunks together. So if you're thinking of it, yeah, I could do a world map where like here is Oceania made out of like 2 pieces of wood. But if you want one that mirrors the US map series where each episode is one country in the world, it just would be a very unsatisfying series. Continents? Yeah, I could do continents. I'm not super interested in that personally. Um, that's just not what I'm interested in. I'm much more interested in making a provincial map of Canada where we can highlight different regionally interesting trees of Canada, or a map of Europe, or a state map of Mexico, or a map of Africa. That's just more interesting to me personally. I know a lot of people really want to see the entire world at once, but I just think it would not be. I'm not personally very interested in making it. Maybe someday, but not for a while. When am I going to do Missouri? It's currently. Hey Jake, what place is Missouri on? What place is Missouri in the Patreon poll right now? Wood, you are right. Wood, you're definitely right. Missouri is tied for last, so it sounds like Missouri needs would need a pretty big jump in the polls to be next on our state tree map, according to the Patreon. I'm gonna get my gouge out. Right now we've got a problem going where the profile is going like this and then just down at a tiny second at the end, and I don't like that. You're gonna build a guitar out of walnut, but you're scared of messing up. Any advice? Yeah, I don't have any advice on making a guitar, but my advice on being scared of messing up is just be prepared to mess up. Maybe try to make a couple like sample cuts using cheaper wood first, and then once you feel more confident, make that make that final cut out of that nicer piece of walnut. But just what I would say is just be prepared to maybe screw up and keep trying, but don't let that fear hold you back from doing the project, because I felt the same way about making a map of the U.S. I felt the same way about most of the things that I've made out of wood, and I let that fear and anxiety hold me back for a long time, and I wish that I hadn't. So just go for it. That's my advice. But the practical advice would be get a cheaper piece of wood like plywood or something and practice on that first. Missouri is not black walnut. Missouri is flowering dogwood. Um, it should be black walnut. I could not agree more. That's one of the ones that I would change if I had carte blanche to change state trees. I would 100% change Missouri's to black walnut. It's kind of criminal to me that it's not the state tree. Especially when I researched black walnut and learned just how integral, how closely tied the black walnut is to Missouri. It's just kind of crazy to me that it's not it. Biggest project other than the U.S. map? I built a chicken coop before I even got into woodworking at all. That's probably the closest thing to a big project. Sorry, I can't always read all of these because it's so light behind it. Was it hard staying on the lines with West Virginia and the spalting? Not really. The pencil kind of reflects light a little bit, the graphite on a pencil. So I was able to move my head and kind of catch that reflected pencil line, so I could see it on top of the spalting. So it wasn't too bad. Which other trees would I change? Good question. I love that question. But first, before I answer that, we got an update on the poll. State tree poll, as it currently stands: North Dakota 31% of the vote, Florida 25% of the vote, New Hampshire 19%, South Dakota, Missouri are tied at 13% each. So we got a dead heat. Right now, North Dakota is leading for our next state tree. Interesting. Beating Florida. Would not have expected that. Okay, so what other states would I change? You sent me a DM on Insta and I didn't answer. I'm sorry, I'm bad at answering my DMs on Insta. I'll go check. I get a lot of them, so I'm bad at responding. Um, so my apologies. Other state trees I would change. I would change all of the ones that share their state tree with another state. Um, so West Virginia today, classic example. I would change West Virginia. We have three other sugar maples. The sugar maple doesn't feel like, if I'm asking myself what state feels more like a sugar maple state, West Virginia or Vermont, it's very clearly Vermont, right? Um, so and also, you get that with a lot of these states that were chosen by school children. You can kind of see where they ask kids, what should our state tree be? The sugar maple or the birch? Of course they're going to say the sugar maple. So there's a lot of them, a lot of those sugar maples I would change. I would probably let Vermont keep it, and then I would change it for all the other states. A lot of those white oak states too. Like I love the white oak, but I'm only going to let one state keep it. In all honesty, someday this won't be my next project, but I will be doing a follow-up U.S. map someday. So another state map where it's not state trees, but it's me choosing a tree that I think is indicative of that state or kind of unique to that state or really interesting. Um, and yeah, I really want to do that as a follow-up series to the state tree map someday. So look out for that sometime. What should be the state tree for West Virginia? I don't know. I'd have to look. I'd have to do like a lot of research. When I do my version, when I do my U.S. map one day where I'm choosing the tree, I would be doing some pretty hefty research. Some of them would I probably keep. Some of them would I'd be really tempted to keep the same. There are a lot of states that definitely nailed their state tree. Ohio, it's hard to imagine it being anything other than the Buckeye. Um, South Carolina, it's hard to imagine it being anything other than the palmetto. Uh, a lot of these states that are so intertwined historically and culturally with the tree they chose. New Mexico with the pinyon pine. A lot of these are really great choices. But even Utah, for example, which I think the quaking aspen is a great choice for a state tree. I'm happy with it. But if I were to choose Utah state tree, I would choose the Utah juniper would be my choice. So my sequel map series that I do eventually, that'd be Utah for sure. Would be the Utah juniper. Um, so I'm just more like intimately familiar with obviously my state and some of the surrounding states here, but I don't know. That'll be a fun project someday. You love my method of keeping the lathe stable. I know I've got three 60-pound sandbags on here. What did I choose for Florida? I didn't choose anything for Florida. Florida's is the sable palm. I would change Florida's if I could because it's already South Carolina's state tree, and I give South Carolina the edge on who gets to keep it because their state nickname is the Palmetto State, and they have the tree on their state flag, very prominently on their state flag. So for Florida, I don't know what I'd pick. I'd have to go look at some kind of interesting species down in the Everglades or something. Only way that's gonna wobble is if the house does first. You know what? It does wobble still though. It's because I need a nicer, bigger, better lathe, a more heavy duty lathe. Mangrove would be cool. That'd be a cool one for sure. So it's interesting because I do think a lot of states clearly had a lot of imagination and passion about their state tree. So a lot of them, it's such a clear and obvious choice. And then a lot of other states just were kind of like, I don't know, we sell a lot of pine lumber, so let's just do the pine. Or kids like sugar maples because they make maple syrup, so let's do the sugar maple. So yeah, it's a which is actually why I enjoy the state tree map idea as a series is because it kind of I don't get to choose. I have to choose some trees that I wouldn't choose on my own, or that I kind of have to think differently about it. So I do enjoy that aspect of it. Um, I don't know. This feels really blown out color-wise. Let's, there was definitely some laziness for sure. Laziness and just leaving it up to you know leaving it up to legislators and children primarily does definitely lead to some pitfalls. Legislators are more apt to pick something that has like uh, a financial tie to the state, and school children are apt to pick one that just is interesting to school children. So sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't. Guys, look at that on the Twitch. This stuff right there. Like, look at. Oh, we haven't had Zoom time in a while. How about some nice quality Zoom time? It's Zoom time. It's Zoom time. It's time to Zoom. Look at this. Zoom time. When will posters start to be available? I gotta email the poster guy, my poster contact back, and get a new sample print done. So we've got like I kind of really love this like corner right here. Um, yeah, Zoom time. For those of you that don't know, Zoom time is a regular feature on the Twitch channel. We got this nice like little bit of chatoyancy right there. Chatoyancy. We got a bunch of spalting. Let's get a nice zoom in on the face. We're almost done sanding, so we'll get another zoom when we start to oil it. But we've got like some crotch figure right there. Um, these nice little spalted piece. Kind of like some nice little zone lines there. Very nice. Okay. Just bought a Michigan sticker. Thank you so much. Could I make miniature versions of the U.S. map? Um, I honestly don't know. I don't know. Like, could I like do it? Sure, but would I be able to get the wood? Could I make them to sell? Um, could I make them to like regularly sell on the website? No, I don't think so. I don't think that I'd be able to get the wood consistently find all the wood. Um, I think that they would still be a ton of work. I'd have to sell them for more than I think most people would want to pay, even if I were able to get all the wood. Um, which is why if you had a CNC machine, you could then I could automatically have it carved out, but you're still running into the issue of getting all the state tree wood for a lot of these different states. Again, I still don't have all the wood for this. Um, so yeah, I don't expect to ever be selling actual handmade state tree maps on the site. It's We're gonna rely on posters and prints and stuff. Posters, prints, and stickers and whatnot. Um, too many challenges to realistically make state tree map posters. It's kind of like at this without a CNC machine, especially, it's kind of like having artists who paint paintings, not produce prints, but just like paint an original every time. Then you have to expect to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Add on top of that, they can just go buy paint. I can't just go buy bristlecone pine every time I need to make it. Um, you know, it's just not really possible. I did get the Chatoyancy clip from the last stream. Yeah, it's clipped in on the thing. How do I feel about Twitch not being an app anymore? I've never used the Twitch app, so I don't really feel strongly about it. How do you feel about it? I didn't know it wasn't an app anymore. I'm assuming that means they just like went to mobile only. But yeah, I don't have a strong feeling because if I am personally like watching Twitch, it's usually on my desktop or laptop. With a CNC, it'd be cost prohibitive. Yeah, with a CNC, it's cost prohibitive to do state trees 100%, even with a CNC. Like with a CNC, you could do what most people do if they sell maps of the U.S. You could buy a bunch of walnut or a bunch of oak or whatever and carve state maps out there. But that's that I think you could make be non-cost prohibitive, but yeah, again, I still don't have all the wood from every state. So like a state tree map is 100% cost prohibitive. It'd have to be even with a CNC machine, I'd have to be charging $10,000 for one probably. Um, Handmade, 4 times that amount. Okay. They just changed it and it's okay, I guess. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. 4 major types of is it mangrove or mangrove? That's cool. I'm gonna have to read up on those. I don't know anything. I know a little bit about those, but I don't know a ton. I don't know that much. Okay. All right. Who's ready to oil this thing, huh? Who's ready for the lubrication station? Is that what we came up with last time? The Who's ready to oil up this crotch? All right. We're gonna start by doing the front and then we'll move on to the sides. Let's give you guys a nice view here. Oh, that's nice, right? How's that view looking for you, Twitch? Okay. TikTok, I'll try to bring you in a little bit closer for this. Again, if you can make it over to Twitch, you're going to want to, but I'm going to do the best I can for you. Don't want to leave you friends out. There we go, okay. Mangrove. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, here we go. Just now that we're zoomed in a bit. Okay. Oh boy. Look at how that, oh, you kidding me? That's stupid. That's just really dumb. Goodness. Okay. Let's move you guys over to the side real quick. A bit more. Let's get a little bit more of the view of the side here. Starting with this bit right here. Look at all what's going on right here. I love it. Let's get some of that going. That little bit right there. Very good. Okay. Well, red mangrove, black mangrove, white mangrove. Very cool. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to look those up. Very cool. Well, this did not disappoint. This oiled up real nice. Um, so this is a piece that this is a wood type that I am normally very tempted to leave unfinished. I think it's a much prettier color if I don't oil it. I don't necessarily always super love the color change that you get with this. When you add the oil, it kind of turns it almost like a little bit of it too yellow. But I figured since we had so much crotch right here, I definitely wanted to oil that because we're gonna get a ton of um, chatoyancy. We're gonna get a ton of chatoyancy in there. Just so much figure and gorgeousness and beautifulness. So yeah. Do I do commissions? In theory, if someone were to commission a map, how much should I have to pay? So I don't really have time for commissions. Um, if someone were to commission a map, uh, it would have to be. I don't know that I would ever have. I don't know that I can't. I don't know. It would depend on a lot of circumstances, and it would depend on the type of map. You know, if someone says, I want a map of Utah made out of some aspen, or a map of, Illinois made out of some white oak, I might be able to do that because those are woods that I have access to and are plentiful. If someone comes to me and says, I want a map of the United States out of every state tree, the answer is just a sad no. I'm sorry, I can't do that. How do I make a wooden jar? Like, how do you carve out the neck is skinny and the body is not? Depends on the entry point of the hole. If the entry point is large enough to fit a hollowing tool, you can hollow that out. Um, if if you're looking for like a jar, like I picture a jar as being cylindrical, so you can just kind of hollow the whole thing out. So it sounds like you're looking for more like a bottle vase, like I make my vases. I don't hollow those out at all. So but and most of the time my neck is too skinny. I mean, I do make some with a wider neck that's a bit more stout, and you could use what's called a hollowing tool if you wanted to hollow that out. But I don't. I personally don't hollow mine out. All right, let's move this back into view. Hello from NC. Much love from the East Coast. Love the page. Come from another tree lover. Thank you so much. I love that. I love North Carolina. I really love North Carolina. Every time I go to North Carolina, I'm always just like so pleasantly pleased with my experience there. Um, great place. Spoon carving difficult? No, not at all. Spoon carving's not difficult. It's very satisfying. It's very fun. Thank you, Chrysopolaz. I don't know how to say your name, but thank you for the follow. Um, yeah, spoon carving is a great entry point. That's the first thing I ever did when woodworking. There are a bunch of YouTube videos about how to carve a spoon. You can watch those that kind of give you like a walkthrough. Very helpful. Very nice. I have seen the blind woodworker. Yeah, he's great. So and always so nice and positive. Well, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Just joking. The Patreon shows the tree town. Just joining the Patreon shows the tree townies. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for the Patreon support. That really means a lot. A lot. I've been having fun with the Patreon. That behind the scenes video was really fun to make. I don't know if any of you guys were able to watch that, but it was hard to make. It was a lot of work, but it was fun. Um, and the Patreon is really great. It makes a huge difference for me. Subaru Baker, thank you so much. Okay, let's see. Let's part this thing off. And then I'll sand down the bottom on my own time, so you guys don't have to watch that. Maybe a duet with the blind woodworker. Yeah, I'd have to look into something like that. Hello from Texas. Wish you could do what I do. You can do what I do. Absolutely. Thank you so much, first of all. But you could 100% do what I do. Anyone can do it. Anyone could do this. If I can do it, anyone can. All it takes is wanting to, and a little bit of interest and curiosity. Little curiosity goes a really long way, in my opinion. There's no substitute for natural curiosity about something. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks to both of you. Thanks for the kind words, you guys. Sorry, Twitch, I just realized I didn't move you guys to watch the parting process. My bad. I hate parting, so. Have I ever read about the redwoods of North Carolina? That sounds familiar. It sounds vaguely familiar. Tell me more. Man, this is like this middle section. This middle bit is like extra hard. Whew. It's like an extra hard bit right there. Okay, well, our little platter thing is done. Let's pull the Twitch up a little bit. There we go. That still not up high enough. All right. Hey, gang. So this is done. This turned out pretty nice. I'm really digging. Come on, focus. Yeah, I'm really digging the color. The color's fine. It's a little yellow for my taste again, like I said, but really digging the spalting and the crotch and chatoyancy in there. Some good stuff. 50 plus years ago, a man visited the California redwoods and brought his own. Oh, cool. So, all right. So our little dish is done. Little cottonwood dish. Some nice figure in there. All done. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take this off. We're going to throw the chuck back on, and I think I'm going to start making some incense holders. Let's see if I can find a little pile of them. See how many of those we can bust out in the next little bit here before I hop off and start cooking dinner. I might hop on live, just on TikTok live tonight to make some incense cones. Speaking of incense holders, can I turn my scraps around and use them again? Yes, yes. So this piece I just removed. So I will 100% be using this piece again. So what I will do is I'm going to throw it back on the lathe. That's why I'm not going to take this off either. So what I'll do is throw it back on and turn on a foot on the bottom of this, because we've got screw holes on the top here and the screws are kind of coming into the wood a little bit. So I'll turn like a foot onto the bottom of this and throw it in this chuck here so that it can hold on, and then carve into the top and scoop down below those screw lines there, and we'll be able to use the rest of this piece. Great question. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes, oftentimes you don't have quite enough to do much with, especially when I'm kind of doing that faceplate turning. Like this. This piece of aspen's really thin, and we got these screw holes kind of coming all the way through, but I can still, and probably will, cut. I don't know that I got enough to do that, but I might be able to cut a couple pieces into this and make incense holders out of this. If it's too small or too thin to do anything with, it just goes in the firewood pile, and we make firewood. Okay, let's see. Where did I put my little pile of leftover incense holders? I just had them out a couple days ago. I used them to weigh down. I didn't take them inside, did I? Ah, here they are. Here they are. Okay. So let's start with our old friend mountain mahogany. Actually, you know what, you guys? I'm going to take a quick break. Wood is cool. It is a gorgeous piece of wood. I agree. You guys, I'm going to take a very, very quick break, and I'll be right back. Let me end this on here, or let me. I'll leave the Twitch stream just on, so I don't have to refiddle with all of that. I'll be gone for like 5-10 minutes, but I'm going to end the TikTok stream for just a second. Okay. All right, gang. I'm going to take a quick break. Twitch, I'm just gonna leave this rolling, like I said. TikTok, I'll be back in a second. And okay. All right, and then Twitch, I'll BRB. I'm just gonna point that there, and I'm gonna say, let's do this. So if anyone hops in, not that anyone probably will, but just in case someone does, say. Be right back. Done. Okay. All right, 1 minute. All right, I've returned. I have returned. 14 of you still in here. Oh, you guys are the best. You're the best. Hi. It's just us right now. I'm gonna go throw the let's throw the live stream on here. Um, all right, we're getting ready. We're gonna do some incense holders. Incense holders. Okay. So to get some water, take a brief little bathroom break, send a couple quick text messages, and now we're ready to go live. Okay. Live on TikTok. No. Sense. Come on. Okay. Screen share. What's going on here? Sorry, gang, we're having some more technical difficulties. The screen mirroring doesn't want to pop up for me here for TikTok, so. Guess maybe I need to reboot this, restart this little thing here. Oh, there it was. I saw it. I saw it. Okay. Back in business. Okay. Okay. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for your kind patience and loveliness for hanging out while I took a quick pause. Oh, let's mirror this. Enhance, mirror my video. Also, I just realized that I have damn it all. I have some new stickers to add to the lathe from the State Tree Map series. We've got a New York sticker here. Let's go ahead and add this. Hi gang, I'm back. He's back. Let's throw New York on the lathe, shall we? We're gonna be really careful and clean this up really nice. Perfect. Oh, we knocked that off. We'll throw the Twitch sign back on in a second. Hey. Hello. Sorry, I can't see your name. Who just said hello and said my name? And hello, the general. We're throwing Michigan on the lathe now. Let's get Michigan on here. Boom. Michigan's Eastern White Pine. Beauty. Beauty. And Texas, I'm sorry, you're going to get covered up in a second here, but it's okay. You won't permanently be covered up. We're just covering you up while we put my Twitch sign on. Got Texas. Boom. 3 new states. In stock. In the shop. Heck yes. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Alex. Hi, boss. Okay. Let's see if we can get this to stick or if it's got like too much. Yeah, it's got too much nonsense on it. You just ordered a Michigan and Texas sticker for your friends. Nice, Jakey. Nice. When you coming up here next to grab them? Do South Dakota. South Dakota was tied for last place in our poll for the next state. Sadly. Tied with Missouri for last place, but it's still anyone's game. Where am I from? I am from Utah. I am from Utah. Let's keep arranging this stuff here. Should be a good view. Ooh, look at that zoom. What part of Utah? Salt Lake area. Salt Lake boy. SLC. If you look closely on some of my videos, you will see the Salt Lake City flag on my bandsaw. Should probably throw it on my lathe too. I have a spare one kicking around. You put the Michigan address as the shipping. So, oh, perfect. That's a good call, Jakey. Good call. Ship directly to them. Good call. Missouri. Missouri is also tied for last place. I don't know what to tell you. Again, it's anyone's game still, but right now it's not looking good. You're back. Welcome back. I don't need birch. No, I've never needed birch. Actually, I've always had birch. Not always, but I got some birch recently. Birch was just readily available, so it's not necessarily that I always had birch. It's just that birch is so commonplace, you can get it kind of anywhere, that I never asked for it because I always knew I'd be able to get it. It's one of the few ones that is just around. But New Hampshire is tied for 3rd for the next state, so New Hampshire could be next. New Hampshire could definitely be next. Missouri, you guys, like I said, I'd love to do Missouri next. It's a pretty piece of wood. I can say that much right now. It's a very pretty piece of wood that I have for Missouri. Okay, those of you on Twitch, can you see that? That's going to be gorgeous. Gorgeous. Florida, oh, we got an update on the Patreon poll. Florida is only 1 vote behind North Dakota for first place, so Florida and North Dakota are in a knockdown, drag out fight for first, and Missouri is only 2 votes away from taking 3rd place over, so it's still very close. And yes, I'm going to make Alaska and Hawaii, absolutely. Florida is almost in first place. It sounds like it's about to take over first place. Come on. What am I doing? What am I doing? All right. Actually, let's move the lathe a little bit. And let's get an updated view for the old Twitch stream. Jake, I really appreciate those poll updates. It's very helpful. Very, very helpful. Where vote? It's on the Patreon. So yeah, I'm allowing those who join the Patreon. One of the reward tiers is getting to vote for state trees, the next state tree stickers to make, other future projects, all that good stuff. Just trying to make it so that I can do more of these types of series. Spend more time on them. When's South Dakota coming? Do I sell? Yeah, I do sell stuff that I make. I got a shop linked on my linked in my bio. I run out of inventory pretty quickly. I just posted a bunch of new vases and dishes and stuff over the weekend, and they sold out almost immediately. And I don't make new inventory that often because I get so distracted by making content, making TikToks and whatnot, that I'm not always updating the shop as often as I probably should. But yeah. I've avoided that question. Sorry, I'm not looking. What's the question? I'm not avoiding any question. I always answer every question. Sometimes the answer is wait and see. What's my favorite state I've made? I don't know. I don't have a favorite one. Nevada when? When I get the wood, it'll be added to the next poll. I don't have the wood yet. It's being sent to me. Favorite wood? This is one of them right here. This is mountain mahogany. This is definitely one of my favorite woods. It's really dense native. It's really dense wood native to the Utah area. I wish it didn't have mahogany in its name because people confuse it for an actual mahogany. When I talk about it, they're like, "Oh, I love mahogany," and it's like, "Oh, it's not a mahogany. It just got that name because of the color of the wood." But it is a very pretty wood. I'm going to move on to another continent next. Africa or South America would be dope. I agree. Another continent, yes. Whether or not that's the very next thing we do, I don't know yet. But yes, another continent for other continents for sure. Thank you for loving my content. Thank you so much. How did I get started woodworking? I got really curious about trees. I got into trees, and then I carved a spoon. A spoon was the first thing I ever did. Carving a spoon. All right, let's move you guys again. How's about right there? Let's get you a bit more of an angle. Center that a bit more. Beautiful. Okay. The spoon, I gave it away. That first spoon that I made, gave it away. It wasn't very good. It was I look at it now and I'm like, oh, that's one ugly spoon, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I think this might be my first mountain mahogany incense holder. Holy smokes, that is going to be pretty. My goodness. You guys seeing this stuff? Would I be interested in some Australian wood? Absolutely. Absolutely. Betcha. This right there is going to be something to behold, you guys. When will I be doing New Hampshire? At last check, it was in third place on our poll for the next state. So, good question. Can I do Florida? Florida is currently 1 vote behind first place for the next state. This wood is so hard, you guys. My goodness. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, wow. Okay, okay, okay. This, I might have to keep this one for myself, if I'm being honest. This one might not go on the shop. We'll see. We'll see how I feel about it, but this might be a Justin keeper incense holder. All right, let me try switching over to the bowl gouge real quick. What's my favorite food? What am I making? I'm making an incense holder. I make these little dish-like incense holders. And I put little incense cones that I make out of pinyon pine sawdust and juniper sawdust. I kind of add like a little bit of, you put dirt or sand or whatever in this, and then you put the cone on it and then light it. Favorite food? I don't know. I have a hard time with favorite things. I like making Indian food a great deal. I like eating it too. I really like. Let's go with Indian food. Favorite thing to do with my pets, or favorite thing I've done with my pets. Um, I have a lot of favorite memories with Miles. Uh, Mostly like camping trips and road trips. In 2016, I got fired from a job I'd been at for almost 7 years. Got fired out of the blue. It was really tough. It was a really tough thing to like process and kind of, left me in kind of a tough mental space. And so I um, took hauled Miles and grabbed Miles, put him in my car, and we went on a giant road trip. We went down through southern Utah, down to Southern California, up the California coast, then into Yosemite, Tahoe, up to Crater Lake, through Central Oregon, up the Oregon coast, into Washington, up into Vancouver for a little bit, and then back home. That was a really fun trip. And then in last year, was that last year? 2 years ago, in 2020, I just gone through a breakup. My partner of about 4 years or so, she moved out, and it's a pretty tumultuous breakup, and so I hauled Miles in the car and went up to Glacier and Montana and Yellowstone and did like kind of a little just Justin and Miles road trip. That was really therapeutic. So a lot of like Miles and me exploring the countryside while I'm kind of processing major tumultuous life events. I can't see the chat always. I try to check. I have a problem where I start talking and then I look up after while I'm working, so I do miss a lot of the chat. So you're gonna have to spam a lot of comments. So I'm sorry if I miss your comment. You're gonna just have to repeat it. My favorite thing I've made, other than the map, I have a few like kind of dishes and platters that I really enjoy. A couple spoons that I've really liked that I've made. Some figure carvings, like I did a figure carving of a cat uh, that I really like how it turned out. I did a figure carving of a beaver that I really like how it turned out. Just these really tiny, like miniature figure carvings. I really dig those. Yeah, I have a lot of things. A box that I made for my dad was like one of the earliest things that I made. A box out of some spalted birch. Really like how that one turned out. Ooh. Tim Astor, thank you for the follow on Twitch. What am I making right now? I'm making incense holders. Just these small little dishes that hold my incense cones that I make. All right. Oh yeah, I made my little brother a box as well. I really like making those boxes. They're kind of time consuming. I should do a video on those boxes. I know that people want to buy them, and I'm slow at making them. So I don't know that I'll ever sell them, but I really like how they turn out. Yeah, Jake, I like how yours turned out. That one I made for Mom and Nate. I was really happy with both of those. I often forget about those boxes because I'm so like focused on the lathe on this app. We're getting a lot of chippy tear out. That's one of the problems with this wood is it's so hard. It almost feels like you're turning stone. So there's a tendency to chip in bits. I did not go to BYU, no. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. No. Absolutely not. Now, I went to UVU, so like close enough, but like different enough that I can say thank goodness I did not go to BYU. Trust me. It's not a normal college. I'm not going to pretend that it's normal, but compared to BYU, it's very normal. I also went to the U for a while as well, so I can claim partial University of Utah credit as well. 3 semesters at the University of Utah. Which one is my favorite incense? I like them both for different reasons, honestly. I definitely don't have a favorite between the two. I really like them both. It just depends on what mood I'm in. Higher RPM, would that fix the chipping? Yeah, it probably would help a bit. It was the direction I was coming that helped the most, though. I had been coming the opposite way, and that just kind of tore out some of that grain. But the higher RPM is going to help. With the overall finish mark of that. So I'm gonna. I saw that your brother went on a mission. Did I go too? Yeah, I was raised Mormon. No longer, but I was, and I did go on a Mormon mission. Yes, I did. All right, I think I'm gonna start. I'm gonna see how we got like some tool marks here. I'm worried that if I try to take one more pass, we're not gonna clean up the tool marks and we're just gonna carve too much away. So I'm gonna start sanding and see how that does for us. This is a very pretty incense holder. I could not agree more. I'm very happy with this. This one's going to be hard to sell. I don't know that I will sell it. But let's see how well sanding does for us. UVU and Utah are more similar than BYU and UVU in your experience. You're 100% correct. Obviously, the social scene can feel very similar between BYU and UVU off of campus, but on campus and in the classroom, those two are far more similar. I agree with you, Jakey. Do I make any pens? Yes. I haven't made a pen in a while. I really am dying to do pens again. I love making pens, primarily because it allows me to use really weird species of like native trees and plants and bushes that are really small trees. I need to do some more. Big Ape from Scotland. Hey, what's up? What's a fond childhood memory I have? I have a lot of fond childhood memories. I had a good childhood. Like a lot of family vacations and uh, fond memories of family vacations. Going to southern Utah to California. Uh, we would go down to we have a family farm in Fillmore in central Utah where we do like little Easter egg hunt with my dad's side of the family every year. That was always a fond memory. Um, and also just kind of like exploring around, running around the neighborhood. Very simple stuff. Have I ever got sponsored? Not. I did my first bit of sponsored content on Earth Day for a company called Superforce. It was doing like a tree planting campaign. Um, so that's been the only one that I've done so far. I've had a few other offers. I part of the reason I'm pushing like selling stickers and pushing the Patreon and the Twitch is I'd rather not have to like shill for corporations if I can avoid it, unless it's something that like I'm personally interested and excited in. So I've been very picky and choosy with deals. I have had a couple sponsorship deals where it's been a company where like, oh yeah, I'd be interested. Let's talk more, and I've given them a quote, and they haven't got back to me. So I'm not like totally against it, but um, I'd prefer to have to monetize the content a bit more directly. Once I've finished the USA, fancy doing countries in the world. Yes, but not at a global level. I've got a video that I filmed. I started filming footage for earlier today that I need to post answering this exact question. So I am very interested in doing stuff like Europe or Africa or Mexico or the provinces of Canada or Central America. I am not at all interested in the entire world at once. The scaling would make for really boring episodes for most countries, and a really uninteresting final piece for each country. Like I'm talking like Denmark, a country I lived in and really enjoy, would be like that big at a global scale, and it wouldn't look like Denmark. You wouldn't be able to see the wood very well. Wouldn't be very interesting. Um, am I an adventurous person? Define adventurous. I like to think that I'm fairly adventurous. Yeah, but it depends. Like I have a sense for the things that I like to do and want to do, and then I have a pretty clear sense of the things that I'm just not interested in. And it's hard to convince me to do the things I know I don't want to do. Um, so I do a lot of trail running and hiking and exploring in the mountains, but I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends in the trail running community um, that are really big into like the really sketchy stuff and doing, they want to pick like the most exposed technical peaks and go, you know, run up those and do like a lot of just free scaling of those, uh, not pure rock climbing, but kind of scaling these really technical peaks. And I'm just personally not at. I'd say like a medium threshold for that. Some of them, sometimes I'm totally game and I'll do some pretty sketchy stuff up there, but sometimes I'm just like, I'm not interested. So I would say I'm above average adventurous, but like I am not on par with like your serious rock climbers or free scalers and stuff. Just an update, you're in love with me. Oh, thank you, Chili Ballard. I appreciate that. Lick the wood when it's spinning. Absolutely not. That's a terrible idea. What's my favorite animal? I have a lot of favorite animals. A lot of favorite animals. Um, one of my personal favorite animals I have a couple favorite animals that are native to Utah. I really like native things. I like native species of plants, animals, and trees, and so I've really like dug deep into that. And I really really like the yellow-bellied marmot and the pika or pika, the pika. I have an affinity for like chunky little tiny mountain rodents. I think they're very great. So the pika and the yellow-bellied marmot are two favorites. I love ravens and crows. I think they're wonderful. Um, your lathe looks like it was made by Singer. It was made by Jet. How are all the animals? They're great. Sal and Rupee have been really dramatic lately. It's very annoying. There's been a lot of loud fighting. Miles is just laying on the entryway outside the door to the garage here. There's no. It's a yellow-bellied marmot. Marmot. M-A-R-M-O-T. Not varmint, but marmot. Yellow-bellied marmot. That's the animal I'm referring to. What am I doing, Missouri? It is currently tied, or is currently almost in third place, I think last I heard, on the poll for the next state to pick. Patreon. The patrons on Patreon are choosing the next state. All right, we're going to polish this up to a really high grit since we're working with some mountain mahogany here. That was 220. We're going to move up to 320 now. Right now I'm making incense holders. They're small little dishes that I make to hold the incense cones that I sell. How do I like my coffee? If it's good coffee, I like it black. If it's cheap coffee, I usually just like it with like a little bit of oat milk, or barring oat milk, just whatever you got on hand. Just like a splash of that, and no sugar. I do play video games. I love playing video games. What's my favorite smelling wood? It's a tie between juniper, Utah juniper, Rocky Mountain juniper, and pinyon pine. You've been waiting for these to come back in stock for your birthday. Excellent. I have a few that I've already made that I have yet to put up on the site, and then I'm going to be making a few more tonight. So these should be going up on the shop probably tomorrow. So keep an eye out there. I usually announce on Instagram stories when I update the shop. I think I'm going to start announcing shop updates on Patreon first, just as like another like give them like a day first, just as a way to like thank the patrons more. But it's a fellow woodturner and inspiration to me. Oh, thank you so much. Yours is red cedar. So if you have not smelled Utah juniper or Rocky Mountain juniper, they smell almost identical to red cedar. Very closely related species. But Jeffrey, thank you so much for those kind words. That's so kind of you. All right, we got the current. Jakey just updated us in the Twitch chat on the current standings on the next state poll. It's North Dakota and Florida are tied for first with 29% apiece. New Hampshire is in third with 17%. Missouri in fourth with 14%. South Dakota in last place with 11%. And then the rest of the states I either don't have the wood for yet or the wood is on the way. Wood has a smell. Wood absolutely has a smell. Toasty, thank you for the Twitch follow. Thank you so much. Yeah, wood totally has a smell. Sometimes it smells amazing. Sometimes it doesn't smell so great. The smell of wood can also change significantly whether it's dry or green, meaning like if you cut it fresh from a live tree. Cherry wood, for example, which I just made did like a vase video about cherry wood over the weekend. Cherry wood, if you cut it or if you carve it or turn it green, it often smells strongly of almonds. But when you cut it or turn it dry, it kind of just has like a just more like mild fruity smell, kind of fruity woody smell. Kind of smells like cherry smoke, if you will. If you've ever smoked woods with cherry wood, or if you've ever smoked meat with cherry wood. And then a lot of trees will smell really bad when they're green, and then not smell bad when they're dry. All right, where is my 1,000 grit paper? Have I returned Vera wood? I have not. What am I going to do? Florida. It's currently tied for the next on the poll for the next state we're going to do. So it might be next. What got me into woodworking? I got passionate about and curious about trees, and that passion and curiosity drew me to woodworking. I wanted to know what every native species of tree in my area. I wanted to know everything about it. I wanted to know what it was used for, what it is currently used for, traditionally used for, where it grows, what it looks like, and what the wood looked like. And that's what got me into making stuff out of wood. Doing homework, but you can't stop watching. Oh, thank you so much. What are some of my favorite games to play? It kind of depends. I haven't been playing anything lately because I've been so busy with this stuff, but I uh, I kind of like a little bit of everything, honestly. Um, I have been most recently playing. Actually, what I've been playing most recently has just been the new Lego Star Wars game. It's like a nice unplug my brain after spending all day editing footage type of game. Um, so there's one. Uh, all right, this is a nice piece. This bit right there. But some of my favorite games of all time are like Red Dead Redemption 2 or both of the Last of Us games. Um, really kind of changed my life actually. Like the first Last of Us, I played that game and immediately wrote my first novel that is unpublished, but it like really inspired me to write a story of my own. So I really love like a good deep story driven game. I love like a good multiplayer game to just play with friends and family. So yeah, I have not gotten into Elden Ring yet. I'm curious. I'm Elden Ring curious, but I haven't gotten into it yet. What state am I doing? I am making an incense holder. Yes, he said Red Dead. Yeah, Red Dead 2 is man, what a game. What a game that was. Arthur Morgan, best of us. Elden Ring 10 out of 10. Okay, cool. I've heard it's great. I've heard great things. I've just felt very like intimidated by it, so I haven't checked it out yet, but what state is next? Currently it is a tie between North Dakota and Florida on our Patreon poll. All right, we have polished this up to a mirror shine. I do have a YouTube account. Yeah, there's not any like exclusive YouTube content yet, but hopefully some coming this month. Look at that bright spot right there. Wow. Ooh, wow, 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 wow. That's neat right there, that little like curly spot. When you get figure in mountain mahogany, it's a thing of beauty. Okay, let's oil this real quick, part it off, move on to our next one. Yeah, oiling mountain mahogany is kind of tough to get across the change just because it's such a dark wood. Sometimes it really makes like a huge difference. Sometimes it's really subtle. I kind of figured this one would be a lot more subtle, which it is. But it is a really beautiful piece right here. My YouTube account is just the same as my TikTok. It's just JD is Justin. What brought me to TikTok? Good question. So I had been making like Instagram videos just for fun, like for family and friends. A little Instagram series called "Get to Know a Native Tree," where while I was up trail running, I would find a different species of native Utah tree and film like a short little video, just talking about the native tree and here's the species, here's some of the info about it. Very similar to like what you see me do in my state tree series, or like just random videos where I'm making a vase or a candlestick or something and talking about talking about species of tree. So I was doing that, but without making woodworking stuff. And then I was also just doing woodworking videos on my Instagram stories, like just posting little snippets of woodworking. And a good friend of mine who's often in these live streams, uh, uh, she runs the social media for the Utah Jazz. She's the social media manager for the Utah Jazz. And she was constantly telling me, she was using TikTok a lot for work. And she was constantly saying, I'm telling you, you need to just go on TikTok. I think you do very well there. And I kept saying, oh, I'll get around to it eventually. And I just took me a lot longer than it should have. But I finally was like, okay, I should give it a whirl. And so I did. Why do I have a headset? Because I'm dual streaming on Twitch. So the headset is where Twitch can hear me. The YouTube account is just the same as my TikTok account. How do I deal with negativity? I like that question. I like that question a lot. I think that because I think it's a complicated topic to discuss because I think that I don't want to get it mixed up and twisted in that, because a lot of people are like, oh, you're so positive, you're so positive. How do you stay so positive? And I do generally think of myself as a positive person, but I also don't want to make it seem like, oh, well, life's a peach and I'm only ever positive and I only ever think good things and negative thoughts can go away. Just don't entertain them. Like yesterday, I had a lot of negative thoughts about the current events of the world and stewed on those and texted a lot of friends and family and um, commiserated with people who are being like more negatively impacted by it than I am and a lot of people I think sometimes will say, well, just stay positive, and that's not always anyway, that's not always appropriate and it's not always realistic. And I think sometimes bad actors will weaponize toxic positivity as a way to shut down conversations about like social change and important conversations. And that's where I struggle honestly more is like trying to figure out how to like how to not how to stay positive, but how to like balance the thing I enjoy, which is being positive, with moments where positivity is not the best course of action, if that makes sense. Anyway, that was a detour. That was not what you were asking me at all, but that's just something that I was thinking a lot about yesterday. But how I stay positive is a lot of meditation, mindfulness meditation. There's a specific meditative practice called loving kindness meditation that has really helped. Look that up. It's a very simple meditative practice that really helps me a lot with staying positive and not like dwelling on negative aspects of things. And then just like engage your curiosity as much as possible. That's another thing that I think really helps you stay positive is by staying curious. Helps it's harder to be negative about something that you're just wildly curious and interested about and talking about that thing and reading about that thing and keep yourself engaged with stuff that keeps you curious. Okay, thanks. Bye. Yeah, Supreme Court got me down for sure. Um, Long shift and alive. Fair play. Yeah, I am putting long shift and alive. Trying to get the Twitch rolling. Just stay positive is not a viable mindset. It's not engage with Zorp. Yeah, just stay positive is not a viable mindset. It's but but it can be, but conversely, like it is a viable mindset to say there are 100% situations where you can and do have a choice in certain circumstances with certain things to be positive or negative about that thing, if that makes sense as well. So it's learning when are you in a situation where it you know the response is not to be, oh, just stay positive, or are you in a situation where it's realistically the approach to just be positive is impossible, and you just need to kind of like give yourself a moment to be sad or upset or angry, or are you holding on to a negative feeling for no reason other than the fact that you're holding on to that thing and you could release it? And learning the difference between those two things takes a lot of mindfulness and practice, but that makes a huge difference, because there are definitely moments and times where where um, where I think people, and myself included, where it is something that's unimportant and is something that does not deserve your attention, that you're holding on to that negative feeling because it makes us feel a little bit in control, but you're hurting nothing but yourself. You know what I mean? So it's a fine line. It's a fine line. It's a difficult thing. It's very tough. What's my favorite wood type? This right here, mountain mahogany. I love mountain mahogany. It's wonderful. 10K. 10K. Oh, this, oh, look at that. This is a really nice looking incense holder. Here you go, guys. Look at that. I'm really stoked with this. Beautiful piece of wood. Mountain mahogany is gorgeous. This feels so nice to just hold. Like we were able to polish it to such a smooth finish. Um, this just feels really nice. Very heavy, hard. It's a little on the thin side, but that's, it's as thick a piece as we had. You vowed every time you watch my stream, you have to craft too. Oh, I love hearing that. I love hearing that. What got me into running? Another good question. You guys are coming with great questions today. Thank you for letting me talk about myself so much. Do I dream in color? Or do I dream in black and white? What song is that? Oh, that's Pearl Jam, right? She dreams in color. No, it's she dreams in red, not black and white. What got me into running? So my dad is a runner. I grew up watching my dad run marathons and all sorts of races, and so I always, like many kids, wanted to do what their dad did, and so I wanted to run like him, and I tried a couple different times in in my younger years to get into running, and kind of failed, multiple failed attempts, and then around when I turned 30, I finally like hit that point, like many people do when they reach 30, where they're like, well, I can't I can't keep just like living my life like I'm 20, like I'm 19 still. I need to, I feel like crap. I look like crap. I need to start doing something different, change the way I eat and exercise. And so that kind of kicked me into gear enough to finally get like into a good habit of running, and I found out that I was good at it. And that was the first time I ever felt good at anything almost. Like it was the first time I really felt, not only felt good, but I could demonstrably be like, go run a marathon and run a really fast time, or go out and, I won a couple like ultra marathons. And so I pretty quickly knew that I always knew I had the body type for it. Growing up, a tiny, skinny kid who couldn't play any team sports because he's so scrawny. I just kind of knew if I'm going to be good at any sport, it's going to be running. And it felt really good to be good at something. The downside of that was when I kind of lost my, when I lost my, or when I dealt with my first injury, I had a really hard time coming back from that because I had leaned too heavily into the accomplishment aspect of it. And this is where I think it's really important that with anything, you try to decouple a sense of self-worth from a thing that you're doing and recognize instead that your self-worth is inherent. Because I think what had happened to me is I talk about this in an article that I wrote about my first 100 miler. I think it's still linked in my bio, so you can read that. But I had I had started to I had a bunch of self-worth issues that I had dealt with from the time I was like a teenager, um, through my 20s and into my 30s, and being good at running helped with that. But the fact of the matter is, like, your self-worth is inherent. You have worth because you exist, not because you have a good job or make a bunch of money or are talented at something or are a fast runner. And so when I mentally coupled, without realizing that subconsciously, oh man, this makes me feel good because I'm good at running. I like it not because I love being outdoors and because I like moving my body and because it gives me a chance to meet new people. I liked it because it made me feel like I had value. Once I wasn't fast anymore because I got injured, it took me years to come back because I had twisted my brain in this like weird sense of that. So anyway, all this to say, always remember that you have value because you are. I didn't do track. No, I didn't pick up running until I was 30. I didn't run my first race I ever ran of any kind was a marathon at age 30. Ah, shit. Okay, I gotta go sharpen my bowl gouge. That was stupid. So what just happened there, you guys, is I was just like, I did that cut and then I like reached down instead of pulling the tool away, I pulled it right into the face of the right there. You can kind of see on the Twitch stream. See that like chunk of metal right there? I had just taken my bowl gouge and pushed it right into the edge of that like a big dumb idiot. Pating. Not me at the precipice of 30, also looking and feeling that crap. Still looks like he's 17. Yeah, Jake, I mean, you and I are brothers, man. That was me. I kind of had that Davies Atwood uh, metabolism that let me live life however I felt like until I turned 30, and then it's like, oh crap, I got to do something. And speaking of all this to say, I need to start running again. Haven't really run hardly at all since my last race in September. All right, sorry guys, I can't. Let me peek over to the chat real quick while this spins up. Hi there. Hi. Okay. I was just making sure there weren't any more questions. I'm gonna grind this a bit because I have to fix what I just ruined. Ah, I fear I may have just really screwed up this gouge. I'm so bad at sharpening. Give me one more second. Ugh. All right, let's see. Okay. All right. We may be timed out on this gouge for the rest of this live stream so I can take some time, but oh well. Okay, I'm back. We're back. How's everyone doing? SK Bennett, thank you so much for the follow on the Twitch. The Twitch follow. That's not bad. You're from South Africa and your stepdad is a carpenter and would love to send you some wood. Hey, I've got a PO box in my profile if you want to send me wood. You definitely don't feel like you have to, but I will never say no to wood. You desperately want my state tree piece in your phone when it's finished, or your home when it's finished. It is not going to be for sale. Again, if you want to come with like an insane offer, I'll entertain it, but the offer would have to be pretty insane. But I will be making prints, really nice poster prints of it. So that will be available. All right. That is tearing out, so let's see if our wonky bowl gouge grind is going to do us any good. Is the noise from the bearings? Yeah, probably. It's the lathe. It's just the lathe moving. Could be the bearings, could be the belt, I don't know. It's always sounded like this. That's cleaner. That's cleaner. Okay. Let's come into the side. What are the tools? Metal of the tools? Yeah, it should be high-speed steel. Yeah, it's high-speed steel. It's a Robert Sorby high-speed steel. Here you go. Let's see if I can get that to focus in on us. Yeah, HSS Robert Sorby. All right. I think that's what most turning tools are made out of, I'd assume, right? I'm not the most knowledgeable metallologist in the world. Have I ever had an accident with working with wood? Yes, absolutely, I have. Had a couple. Worst lathe accident was I had a pretty big green log that was not support. I didn't realize it was unsupported, and I also didn't realize that my lathe speed was turned up really high, and I turned it on, and it flew off the lathe and hit me in the face while I was reaching down to hurry and turn the lathe off because I wasn't even going to turn it at that point. I was just checking. I was checking the alignment of the piece, so that was just like carelessness. And then I trying to make a jig on my table saw, a small piece of offcut caught on the blade and kicked back and shot through the top of my finger. Someone earlier asked on the poll update, only changes that North Dakota has taken a slight lead over Florida. So there's your poll. State tree poll is that North Dakota is back in first place again. Thanks, Jake, for the update. Please do Missouri next. Missouri's got to win that poll if it's going to be next. Can I make something complicated? What do you mean? Like a map of the United States where every state is made out of its state official state tree? You mean like that? What am I making? I'm making an incense holder. Can I make something complicated? Again, you're gonna have to tell me what you mean by complicated. If you mean a map of the United States where every state is made out of its official state tree, I've got good news for you. I am currently making that. You can watch about 43 episodes of it. You like my hat? Thank you very much. It was really cold here this morning. Complex like that. Well, perfect. You're in luck. You're in luck. Nick's Custom Woodworks. Hey, what's up, dude? What's up? What's up? Welcome, welcome. All right, Twitch. Sorry that the view on this one's like a little uninteresting, but I promise this is gonna be one of those ones that's gonna go from like kind of boring to interesting once we throw that oil on. BBQ Brett, thank you so much. I'm so happy to know you're a fan of the work. I really appreciate that. That was you, North Dakota for the win. Not told, just older. Thank you. Not old, just older. There you go. I read your name wrong. Thanks for the vote, North Dakota. What a surprising turn of events. When I started that poll today, I would not in a million years have guessed that North Dakota was going to be taking over the lead for the next state. Isn't Missouri State Tree the dogwood? Indeed it is. Indeed it is. I have a really cool piece of dogwood lined up for it. You're going to love it. It's going to be really pretty. But right now, it's got a few states ahead of it in the poll for the next one. All right. This one's also a little thinner than I was expecting, but I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be pretty neat. We won't polish this one quite as high. Florida has made a few bad choices recently, so it was a vote against Florida, not their tree. Hey, you know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Which, to make it clear, when I make that state and I call it the great state of Florida, know that I'm talking about their trees and people in that state who are fighting the good fight. Theory behind the North Dakota love is to close in all the edges of the U.S. sans Florida. That makes sense as well. That makes sense as well. There's what I've learned on the Patreon is the Patreon voters have like very specific things in mind. They think very differently than the average, like they think differently than the masses on the state tree poll, and I love that. The patrons think very differently. Show you the dogwood? Absolutely not. That's a surprise for when we get to the video. You're gonna have to wait. No spoilers. This is a spoiler-free zone. What's Maryland's state tree? It is the white oak. What's the next state tree? Right now, North Dakota is in the lead on our Patreon poll for the next state. Okay, let's throw some oil on. This is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good oil job. So this reminds me, I should just keep the stack of these right here. And where did I put my oil? Oil, 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 oil. There it is. Boom. Spoilers are gross. Yeah, we are not going to spoil that. That's going to be such a fun one. All right. I guess it wasn't as dramatic as I was expecting, but still made it look a little bit nicer. That was not nearly as dramatic as I was expecting. Sorry, guys. Came in with like big promises. This one's going to blow you away. It's like, it's a little bit better, but not all that amazing. Ever going to do Canada? Yes. Yes, I will do Canada. I don't know if it's going to be next or not, but I will do Canada. For sure, at some point. Very excited for that one. Do Missouri last because it's in the middle. See, I think I would not be surprised if that is why Missouri has suddenly like dropped to the bottom of the last two polls for the next state tree. I kind of, after Oklahoma, so I think here's what I'm thinking as I'm thinking through this, because Oklahoma was, Oklahoma won so the last state poll, West Virginia won. The one before that, Oklahoma won, but Missouri was just behind it. And once Oklahoma won, Missouri fell to the very bottom. And I think that the patrons are angling for Missouri to be last. Nevada has been waiting forever. Well, I mean, technically all the states have been waiting forever, right? Like, all the ones left have been waiting forever. Nevada just people got their jimmies in a rustle because they got all upset that they could see the outline of it, which I personally find really fun. I love when the negative space is created. How did I get interested in state trees? I was always interested in making a map out of wood from every state. The official state tree kind of came about by accident because I had a really cool piece of quaking aspen to make Utah out of, and that just happens to be Utah's state tree. Well, I made a cool piece of quaking aspen, and I wanted to make Utah out of it and talk about Utah's state tree because being from Utah, not a lot of people know that we changed our state tree 7 years ago, 8 years ago, whenever, in 2014. And so I made that video, and then while I was editing that video, before I posted it, I was like, oh, I should just do like the whole map like this out of state trees. That could be interesting and fun. That's what happened. That's how it happened. Okay. What would next? What would next? How was about... let's do this piece of juniper. Nice thick piece of juniper. When is Missouri coming? I kind of feel like the vote is angling to make it last. Wouldn't be my choice, but it kind of feels like the patrons want it to be last. I don't know. I don't know that that's what they want, but it's been last or toward last place of the last couple polls. So my gut tells me that the patrons want to see it be like the last piece to go in the middle. Could be wrong. The poll is on Patreon. Patreon.com/JDisJustin. I allow my mid-level donors to vote for the next states. The mid-tier and above. Joey Chestnuts eats hot dog fat if you don't know him. Who would win in a competition if you were to eat one hot dog and run 100 meters, Usain Bolt or Joey Chestnut? I saw someone really break that down, and I forgot what their conclusion was. Steph, thank you so much for the follow. I'm the GOAT, thank you. Yeah, someone really broke that down. If it's just one hot dog, I think Usain Bolt wins. But if it's a lot of hot dogs, then clearly Joey Chestnut. But I haven't put a ton of thought into it. What does the poll look like? Jake, we got someone asking for a poll update. At last check, it was North Dakota was in first.